So if we are fortunate, fortunate enough,
right, sir.
Sure, anytime, most welcome. We
so
definitely can organize some
if we are
visit.
post Corona, we will,
Yeah.
if possible, we will take students to surf factory also.
Sure,
This is the whole idea, because in this time, online, when we have transformed to online, mode of teaching. So this is the motto of my entire teaching, where we have done, theoretical things, theoretical knowledge, along with we call people from different industry out there as a speaker in a webinar, where they give industry input, because it's very important when you have an amalgamation of theoretical and practical knowledge. Because if your subject is oriented, industry oriented, our students can know what's the importance of the particular module in the industry. So that is the reason I requested sir, ki Navneet sir, ko please bulaiye. And last time also I wanted, but somehow you were very busy that time. So we are lucky enough to have you out here.
Thank you very much. So it's a pleasure. Actually, sometimes some other objections are and commitments are there, so timings are not matching. Yeah,
I'm humble. Thank you. I'll make you host. I'll make you host.
Yeah, I need to share the screen myself. Yeah,
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Sir, before starting, I will like to give you some glimpse of the company's profile.
Yeah,
if you
that
permit.
Would be great, because that
yeah, please. My pleasure.
Yeah. So Jazz Industry, I will give you slight glimpse of the Jazz Industries, what exactly Jazz Industries is. So a few points are with me. So sir will share if something is missing. Sir will share me later on. So Jazz Industries is an ISO 9001 and 14001 certified company. It is pioneer in the field of PU and PVC coated fabric, PU resin, and radiation-based nucleonic gauges. Jazz Industries has a production facility of PVC and PU transfer coating, PU coagulation machine, PU resin and polyol reactors, DMF recovery plant, surface finishing machines, and coating machine for dry process PU leather. The company has a coating machine for waterproof and moisture permeable products and lamination machine for fabric. The company has a well-equipped in-house quality control lab facility with all the sophisticated equipments required for non-leather material testings. The company is using modern QC tools and techniques like QEM, Kaizen, 5S, TPM, Kanban system. So these are the most modern QC techniques. At present, company is focusing on sustainability and working on OHSAS 18001 water and solvent recovery and on recycling of non-woven fabric. The company is catering the market of automotives, footwear, garments, upholstery, and sports goods also. So this was a brief profile of the company, sir. If something is missing, you kindly share it.
You have covered very well. All points are covered. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So I request you, sir, to kindly start the presentation.
I'll do that.
Sure.
Sir, you are now host.
Okay. Now I'm start to share the screen. Yeah.
Green.
I think now everybody can see my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We can see.
So let me start. So as Mr. Mathur has told about our company, so this company was started by my father in 1985, and I joined this business in 1996. And I'm looking after basically synthetic leather division, and that too specifically PU synthetic leather. So as I'm having an engineering background, so today I will take you to the points how synthetic leather is made, what are the main key points, what are the type of synthetic leather which is made worldwide, and so on. So this is a little introduction of synthetic leather. We call it synthetic leather in many ways. Sometimes we call it as artificial leather. Sometimes we call it as fox leather. Sometimes we call it as a vegan leather and leatherette also. Actually, anything which is made with synthetic is a synthetic leather. And in vegan leather, usually we use some of the products which are usually plant-based or a natural base. Something like we have soybean epoxy oils and many other things which are used in the production of synthetic leather. So that category of leather can be classified under a vegan leather. And at this moment, like China is a world leader into this market because it has the highest production in terms of all the products. And apart from them, in Asia, India is the another country which is having the second largest production of synthetic leather. As in India, the major market is driven by a price point. So price point material is a PVC synthetic leather, which is the biggest here in India. And after that, PU leather being just equal replacement to a natural leather. That is a second in the list. And we are only few manufacturers here in India who are able to do this PU synthetic leather at this moment. And we are one of the first companies in India who started the production of PU synthetic leather here in India, along with PVC synthetic leather. So yeah, you can go through this slide. If we see this substrate and this total composite, this is having three parts. The bottom part is substrate, and substrate can be of many types. It can be a woven fabric, it can be a knitted fabric, it can be a you can say non-woven fabric also. So depending on the end product specification, like for a sport shoes, usually we need a very high performance in high thickness. So the backing cloth used will be of a non-woven. And for a shoe lining also, like when we need to have a very thin products. So in that case also, sometimes we are using a very thin non-woven, like of 70 GSM, 80 GSM. So that will make a product for a shoe lining. And the advantage of non-wovens in this industry or in this type of products is it is having all-round direction of stretchability. So when we are making a shoe or a molding it, so when we are lasting it, we can get a very good shape retention and a shape formation for the shoe or the end product. And similarly, we have a woven fabrics wherein we need very high performance of tensile, tear strength, and of physical properties. So wherein we are taking some woven fabrics and knitted fabrics. You can say those are used in many areas, like for garments or stretchable products, or even a shoes which is having high ankle construction or high boots. So those areas we are using stretchable fabrics and stretchable products. So those products are, again, as I've told you, are having this sort of knitted fabric or other products into be used. And above that is a foam layer. We call it as a mid foaming layer. This foam layer can be made by many methods, which we'll be explaining in the corresponding sheets, which I'm showing you. And the top layer, which we see as a texture, we call it as a top coat. So all the abrasion properties, touch, feel, everything is coming from this top layer, because this is a surface which we are seeing by visual eye, or we can see how it is performing. So broadly, basis of the synthetic leather, there are two major types of synthetic leather which are made worldwide. One is a PVC synthetic leather, and second one is PU synthetic leather. So in case of PVC synthetic leather, there are two broad methods for production of same. One is we call it by extrusion or culinary process, wherein we are doing extrusion and coloring, which we'll be explaining from the next slide onwards. And the second process is called by casting. So what is the difference between coloring and a casting? In casting process, we are doing a casting over a paper, which is a special paper called as a release paper. So this release paper usually have a textures and different patterns, which are being transferred onto the synthetic leather as a top surface. So that's why this process is called casting process. And similarly in polyurethane PU, we have now two types of production which is going on. First is we call it as a PU first generation. And first generation means that's an old technology wherein we have a PU dry process and PU wet process. And the second generation, which is coming as a new upcoming market into the world, are going forward for a more eco-friendly products. So wherein we are using some water-based product or a high solid product with a non-solvent. So that means we are able to reduce the uses of water as well as solvents or VOC products, which is damaging environment and causing these greenhouse effects and everything. So that's a new technology which is coming up into the world.
Sir, I just want to interrupt you.
Yeah,
So
sure.
which one is better? There's lots of confusion between, as a layman, because when we talk about PU and PVC, both are like, little politic when we talk about, sustainability and all eco-friendly.
Yes. So I'll explain. Like PVC is a versatile polymer, I would say, and this polymer can be recycled also. Even after making a shoe or synthetic, we can recycle it. So in that terms, if we say PVC is more versatile and more environment friendly, and very less solvents are used. And in case of PU, why PU is more popular nowadays? Because it is a one-to-one replacement of a genuine leather. If you're making a shoe or a bag or a garment, if it is made out of PU, the behavior, the breathability, the physical properties, chemical properties are very similar to genuine leather. So for a person who is wearing it or who is using it is more comfortable in terms of PU. And the best part is PU is even lighter than the genuine leather as well as PVC. So again, the wearer or the user is getting added advantage into that terms. So PU is again, that's a recyclable, not recyclable product. That is a decomposable product. So PU is having a shelf life of like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. After that, it will start to decompose. So sometimes landfilling and decomposition is an issue in case of polyurethane. But in case of PVC, that's another issue. Like we cannot dump it. It is having life of more than 100 years to decompose. So usually people go for a recycling or other processing of PVC material. And this PVC material by look or by nature is more plastic feel, not like a leather feel or a leather appealing or by weight or by hand touch. So that is the reason it is lacking in that market. But overall, for certain application like for suitcases, baggage, luggages, PVC is far more superior and usable in that term. So these two types will coming in many products in hand to hand, you can say.
Thank you so much. Sir, one more thing, we might go out of, because time is showing. We have to rejoin on the same link.
Sure, no problem. So now this is a first manufacturing process. We called it by PVC by calendric process. So in this process, as this flow chart says, this is a feed. Usually the feed consists of PVC resin and plasticizers and certain additives which are used to make a film or a physical properties are given according to it. So after feed, that is a PVC resin and DOP, we have a blending machine, which we call as a dry blender, where we mix all the additives and different products to make the polymer. And after that, we have an extrusion machine. Extrusion machine is a machine which is having a heat and different zones. When we are putting this compound into it, so the PVC will come in a cake form or a paste form after mixing and melting. So it is basically a melting device which is melting this polymer. After this melting, we have a two-roll mill. A two-roll mill is for the further mixing of the compound, so that compound is evenly mixed and a film formation can be done. And after this mixing, that compound is going to a calendar stack. I will showing that picture in the next video. And that calendar stack, we have a different rolls. So those rolls are helping in making the PVC sheet or PVC film. So once that PVC sheet is formed, we are doing a cooling of it. After cooling, we can see a film is formed, which is handleable. We can handle that film by hand or by sea. And after this formation of PVC film, we are laminating it to different substrates as per the requirement of an end use. Like in case of a luggage, like we need a hard baggage, so we are laminating some Tetron fabric or a polyester fabric. And in case of a lady's handbag, we are laminating some sort of a knitted fabric. And similarly for shoe material, we are laminating a non-known product, something like that. So different types of substrates come into picture here. And after lamination of substrate, we are doing a surface finishing. As this film is not having any texture or a touch, so usually after lamination and production of a base, we are going for some embossing machines or printing machines to give some two-tone effects or some grain effect, which will complete the formation of a artificial leather. So the end product, which is called a PVC artificial leather, after this surface treatment finishing process. So this is a slide you can see. Typically, the machine look like. So this is the intermixer. This is the dry blender, and then is a extrusion machine is there, heating mixture, extrusion, and this is a two-roll mill. And this machine is called a blending stack. So you can see the red line is just showing the flow of the product. So between these two rolls, there is a gap which is causing a film to be formed. And after this, two rolls are there, which are the polishing rolls. We call it as a polishing rolls. And after that, there is a cooling device where the cooling is done, and then the rewinding of the film, which is called as a PVC film. And further, after that, I just have told you, PVC film is being laminated into different substrates, and then surface finishing is done. Now, this is a process which we are now initiating is a PVC by casting process. In casting, as I've explained you earlier, we are using a release paper. This release paper is of a special kind, which is having some silicone coating onto it, which enables us to reuse this paper many times, like 10 to 12 times we can reuse this paper. So we are casting our PVC paste onto this paper. And after casting, we are taking a whole product in a single step. In this machine, as I've told you, this paper is having textures and different finishes. So we don't need to have a further finishing or a post finishing in that case for a texture, for embossing, because everything is transferred from a release paper itself. So in this, similarly like this is feed is PVC resin and a DOP. Here, the type of PVC resin is different. So when we mix it with the plasticizer like DOP and DINP, so it will be forming a liquid paste. It is not a melted paste. It is a liquid paste, which can be poured onto a coating machine to make the different layers of the synthetic leather. So that, like here, I have told you, we are preparing a paste for top, foam, and adhesive. Like top coat usually is a compact layer with no foaming, and a foaming layer, as it says, it is having a certain blend of chemicals which lead to a bubble formation or a foam layer formation into the PVC. And then the last step, we have a adhesive layer, which is used to laminate different types of substrates or a fabric as per the requirement of the final product. So as I've said, like paste preparation, then casting application of top layer. So in casting application, we have a coating head, which I'll be showing in a next picture. So that